Ready for takeoff? Today we're landing in Warrensburg, Missouri. I'm Meredith Haynes. Thanks for joining me on another exploration of Missouri life. Today we are in Warrensburg, Missouri. We're going to experience the beauty of a botanical garden, hear the story of how one man's blindness is still inspiring a community, and why growing local can be a success. That and much more. Let's get our journey of Warrensburg underway. For the first stop on our journey, we arrived at Whiteman Air Force Base, home to the B-2 bomber. We got there just in time to catch a glimpse of the biennial air show, Wings Over Whiteman.
Whiteman Air Force Base, it existed before World War II. The name of the base, Whiteman, came from Second Lieutenant George Whiteman, who was allegedly the first casualty in the attack on Pearl Harbor. He was from Sedalia, Missouri, right down the road. Whiteman Air Force Base, I think, is somewhat of an untold story in Missouri. People don't realize that you have a base that has one of, and I'm not exaggerating, one of the most powerful weapon systems on the planet. Just the strategic deterrence that the bomber fleet, and in particular the B-2, what that brings for the nation, it's almost impossible to really calculate that. The B-2s have launched out of Whiteman and gone and struck almost every corner of the globe in various conflicts and then returned home all in one strike. So the idea that you can fly a jet for 30 or 40 hours all the way around the world and then come back is a pretty amazing capability. And I think it's one that story is not necessarily as widespread as you would expect. We try to host an air show here every 2 years. Our two big acts that we have, the Army Golden Knights parachute team will be here as part of this air show. And then in addition, we have the F-22 Raptor demonstration team. So they were here yesterday flying around the pattern. It's probably one of the loudest aircraft you'll hear at the air show, but pretty amazing opportunity to get another stealth aircraft in here with the F-22 and paired up with the B-2 on the ramp. It's a pretty amazing opportunity for the crowds to be able to see really what are right now two of the premier aircraft in the United States Air Force inventory.
As we headed off base with aircraft soaring overhead, we made our way to another local institution with a flight program of its own, the University of Central Missouri.
We were founded in 1871, so we've been here for about 150 years now. We firmly believe in educating the student to be more than he or she is today. That's preparing them with skills and aptitudes that allow them to develop for careers that don't even exist today. We recognize that every student who comes to us comes with their own unique story. And we know it's important that as part of our success initiatives to help them graduate, that we provide a service that is designed just for them. So we're the only public institution in the state of Missouri, and frankly, one of the few public institutions in the United States that have an airport that is solely our airport. We do have a very robust aviation program that's heavily flight-oriented. So obviously, Whiteman Air Force Base is an Air Force base. They do a lot of flying there, so we have this unique connection to them. The University of Central Missouri's mascot is the mule. In World War I, the mule was heavily used in the European theater, and the Missouri mule in particular gained a reputation for being the best of the best. And Warrensburg specifically served as a depot for where mules would load on the trains to start heading out to the European theater. And it was actually one of our students who suggested that we use the mule, and it stuck. So for almost 100 years we have been the University of Central Missouri Mules, and we still to this day think it's the best mascot in college. We are very fortunate to be in Warrensburg, Missouri. We believe in the high quality of what we do, but we also believe in the high quality of the Warrensburg community, and support that we get from our local businesses and citizens is just outstanding. Go Mules!
Located near the outskirts of Warrensburg lies the patch of elegantly maintained landscape of Powell Gardens. At over 970 acres, this peaceful respite attracts sightseers, plant lovers, and even soon-to-be newlyweds from all over the region. Kalie Hudson was on site to give us a tour. When was this created? How did Powell Gardens come to be? How did this all happen?
Well, so about 50 years ago, this was a cattle farm. It was purchased by George Powell Sr., and he had a vision for, he just loved plants and gardening, and he had a vision for a botanical garden for Kansas City. We have 7 themed garden areas. There's something, literally something for everyone here.
I'm excited to start seeing it.
Yeah.
Can you show me?
Of course, let's go. So this is the dogwood walk. It showcases quite a few varieties of dogwoods, which, as you mentioned before, is Missouri's state tree. This walk actually leads over to our Marlies Low Gorley Island Garden, which features our aquatic plants. It's just a fantastic shaded walk. In the spring, this is just full of dogwood blooms. It's excellent. Over this bridge is our Marlies Low Gorley Island Garden. This is kind of the heart of our core garden. As you can see, it sits in the middle of a 12-acre lake. And as we come around this corner, you'll see the 3 tiered pools that flow through the lake. So all of the lily varieties will sit over here in these pools, and they've actually just started blooming, so it's perfect timing.
You know what's, I think, beautiful about this place, whether you know plants, whether you know nothing about plants, whether you are learning about plants, I mean, that's a great opportunity to come.
There's something for everybody here. A willow tree, for example. We do so much here in the gardens to activate it, and like you said, even if you're not a traditional plant lover, you can come and find something to do, find a place that you want to be, and find a place that you can love, just like our horticulture staff loves it. So this is our Marjorie Powell Allen Chapel. It was named after Marjorie Powell Allen, who was a great supporter of the gardens and a Powell family member.
All right, let's go in.
Okay.
Okay, so the wedding chapel, I will have to say, is a hard-to-beat location for the gardens. Where are we going next?
Well, I think we need to stop by our fountain garden. We have a beautiful interactive fountain, and during the summer season, you can see many small children running through and cooling themselves off, but it has some beautiful plantings, and that'll lead us into our edible landscape, the Heartland Harvest Garden.
Okay, let's go.
The great thing about the Heartland Harvest Garden is that it was actually planted to be aesthetically beautiful, but it is functional in that almost everything in this space is edible. To the left, you'll see the Volandery Garden. This year, we have a chef in residence program, so we've actually partnered with 4 different chefs. Our horticulture department and our education department worked with the chefs while they decided what they wanted to plant. And then throughout the season, we harvest these things and they get weekly boxes of produce to use in their restaurants. And then in turn, they come out and they create programming, design culinary experiences for guests. And it's this great reciprocal community outreach type program that's just basically a trade.
This is beautiful. Powell Gardens is so beautiful. There's so many nooks and crannies. You almost need, I feel like, a full day to walk through it.
Yes, so I say generally if you're coming, you have to come in 2 separate visits, especially if you have young kids, because it's like you kind of either pick this side of the garden, so you pick the core side. If you're really adventurous, you can certainly do both. But it's hard to see everything in one day. There's a lot going on here.
Well, it's beautiful, and you have something to offer everybody out here. Thank you so much, Kalie, for giving me a tour today. I so appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you for coming.
Many varieties of vegetation thrive at Powell Gardens, and its extensive, unique beauty is difficult to appreciate in just one afternoon. However, it's not the only spot in Warrensburg harvesting fresh fruits and vegetables for the community. Next stop, Buckeye Acres, a family-owned farm operation where you can pick your own fruit and make lasting memories. Kind of walk me through how this all started and came to be.
Sure. Well, Buck's parents, Jim and Jean, started the farm in 1982 when they decided they were going to make Missouri their permanent home from Ohio, and so decided to name it Buckeye Acres because they wanted a little bit of Ohio here at home. And then Buck and I came back in 2009 to kind of take over the operation from his parents. We plant over 20,000 strawberry plants a year for our U-pick operation, which is a lot of strawberries.
20,000 plants?
Yes, 20,000. Planted by hand. Now we plant those by hand because there's no mechanical way to plant them. We do right on a transplanter, so it's somewhat mechanized, but we do have to use our hands to plant those. So we do quite a large vegetable production as well. For our market here at the store, at the farmer's market, and then we have our CSA, this community supported agriculture co-op, where people come to the farm each week.
What do you think the education has meant for the community?
I think one of the main education things has been knowing what is in season when. You know, because you go to the grocery store, you can get anything any time of the year. It doesn't matter. But it doesn't all grow here all year long, and there's some things we also can't grow. So I think people realize when you eat what's fresh and what's available, also how much better it tastes, how much longer it lasts. You know, you can get lettuce from us and it's gonna still be good in 2 weeks. You know, if you buy it at the store, it may not last that long because it's had to come a lot farther to get to your grocery store before you even get to take it home with you. So you're getting the best and the freshest right here.
Do you have a plan? Do you have a vision? Are there more things that you're hoping to bring in and build on?
Yeah, we just planted some blueberries this year. This is our first year of planting some blueberries. We'd really like to have some blueberries on the farm for you pick, but our vision for the farm is just to be a place where people can come and see what a farm is. And I mean, obviously we're a vegetable farm. There's a lot of different kinds of farms, but this is one type of farm that they can come and see what we do, see that farmers care about what they do. It's our livelihood, and we want them to have, feel like they have a stake, I guess, in what we're producing and what we're growing. We love seeing families at the farm during our U-pick seasons for strawberries or cherries or blackberries, or whether it's our pumpkin patch in the fall. You know, just making those family memories that you can't do everywhere.
Would you like to show me the rest of the farm? I'm
yeah.
anxious to see it.
Yeah, I'm gonna give you a tour. Let's go. Yeah.
Warrensburg is abundant with fresh ingredients, allowing local artisans like Green Truck Bakery the means to bake exquisite recipes. Our flavor guide and bread enthusiast, Will Moore, paid the Schick family a visit for a lesson in bread baking.
We're here in downtown Warrensburg, getting ready to learn how to bake some bread at Green Truck Bakery.
Yeah.
So what kind of bread are we making?
We are making what we call garden bread.
Okay.
And it's got carrots and onions and hazelnuts.
That sounds delicious.
Yeah.
So what's next?
So next is the starter. Just pick the bowl up, carry it to the mixer, and dump it in. The next step is add the rest of the ingredients, which we have already measured out. This is honey from a guy here in town.
So you guys locally source all of your ingredients?
We try to as much as possible.
Awesome.
Yeah. Next is the flax seeds.
Flax seeds. What's
Yeah.
a flax seed?
The seed of the flax. I don't know. I don't know what it is.
I've never heard of that before.
Next, it's the garden bread, so let's add the carrots.
Awesome. Oh, yummy.
Yeah, there you go.
Right in?
Yep,
Perfect.
perfect, thank you.
Got them all in there. Didn't miss.
And onions.
Now, carrots and onions in bread, I've never heard of that before.
It's
Is this a recipe that you guys came up with?
It's actually, they do it in Sweden a lot. Yeah, and it makes the bread
Put it in there?
moister and softer.
So we've added all the ingredients.
Yeah.
We're ready to mix it up?
We're ready to mix.
Let's do it. So now that we've mixed all the wet ingredients, what's the next step of the process?
Then we add the flour and the dry ingredients. Then we take it out of the mixer and let it rest for 45 minutes. And then we stretch the dough, which there's a batch that we mixed earlier that's ready to stretch.
Awesome, that sounds fun.
It is
Get our
fun.
hands in the goop.
Yep.
Okay, here's some dough that we started a little earlier this morning. This is sourdough, and it's a pretty wet dough. What we're gonna do is just gently stretch it, stretch each corner, then I turn it around and I'll give you a shot at it.
All right.
Okay? This will sit another 45 minutes, lets the gluten develop, and then we'll be ready to start shaping it.
That sounds great. So how did you get into baking bread? Where did you learn all this stuff?
I worked with my mom who baked for us every week as I was growing up. I later got more interested in small bakeries. After I retired, I started doing it. And so we've been working with wood-fired ovens and artisan breads for about 7 or 8 years now.
So when do we start putting bread in the oven?
After it's done fermenting, then we get all the dough out onto our table. We cut it into approximate sizes for the weight we're going to use, weigh it, get it to the exact size, and then we shape it into the shape to make a loaf or to make a round boule.
Well, thank you so much for showing me the process. So let me give this back to you, although I do want to hold on to it. This is awesome.
The beauty of Warrensburg exists in the natural landscape, tasty food, and the wonderful people we meet along our journey. But even more charming is the community that thrives here. Residents like Sandy Earle have found ways to bring people together to remember the past and pave the way for a better future. Sandy Earle, thank you so much for joining us here at Blind Boone Park, which this is your baby.
And it's a lot of other people's baby too, I think. It had been let grow up and was really unusable, and it had been a segregated park. So I talked to the park director at the time, and he said, it's called Blind Boone Park. And I said, well, what's a blind boon? And he said, you need to find out. So I did a little research, and I became completely fascinated and enamored with this person who was blinded at a very young age because he had what they termed brain fever, but nothing stopped him from doing what he wanted to do. And eventually the city of Warrensburg got together and sent him to a blind school in St. Louis. So he was near the Tenderloin district and could hear the music. But then he met a music student at the school, and although Boone could play already, it was as if it was a gift, as if he was born with it. They said, no, you need to learn classically. And so they got him a teacher, and he learned classically. He played over 7,000 concerts. He was very philanthropic. He was just an amazing human being. We thought, well, let's work on it in his honor then, and for the community itself, and remember the history of the segregated park, and remember the history of Boone. So we commissioned the sculpture, and I told her, you know, this needs to be basically something that's tactile and interesting for people sighted or not sighted. When we set it there, we just had set it down. This mother and son came up the street across the street, and he was blind. And they were looking across the street, and I said, oh, please come over. And he was immediately fascinated, especially with his hair. And so I thought, oh, we've succeeded here.
It was almost like it was meant to be. Like that was the first person who was supposed to get to see it.
Yes, exactly. And it's an exciting sculpture. I really love it.
What do you think this means to the community still today?
Well, I think it's an example of what you can do when you set your mind to something. We had one volunteer, his name was Charlie Briscoe, and he said, what once kept us apart now brings us together. And that meant a great deal to me because that was the plan. Let's all get together and let's think about it together and let's plan it together so that it is for everyone, for all of us. And let's not forget the past, but let's also create it for the future.
Well, congratulations, even though it's 20 years later, on the endeavor being a success for you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
John William Boone conquered his blindness to achieve greatness in the music community and inspire change in his hometown. Just down the road, an inclusive playground is helping others overcome disability modes and enjoy themselves at yet another community gathering place.
What you're trying to do is you're trying to set up a play space that doesn't matter about ability or gender or any other thing. What you want is somewhere where people can just come together and play. If the parent is the person that has the disability mode, they can wheel a chair across this park and be closer with their children. If it's the child, then like for instance, the roller slide allows somebody that maybe couldn't actually physically get down a standard static slide, go down. A lot of times, folks with disabilities are a little bit afraid of the open space, and so when they sit in one of the zip line chairs, the chair's fully supportive and there's the feature that comes over and holds the body in, and so they can have the same enjoyment that you and I would have from a thrilling ride of physical movement, yet they feel very comfortable and safe in that. We tried to add colors and dimensions and sound, and we did a very good job. I've found Warrensburg to be an incredibly giving community and a very kind community. We pulled $80,000 just in a matter of weeks, that final hump, and we were able to get the park finished. And so it's all community. Every week I get a contact from somebody that says they went out to the park or they went out and saw somebody playing on the park. I had a school teacher tell me this weekend, you know, I got to see somebody with a disability mode playing in the park. That was really awesome. I think the response is great.
Getting outside and climbing around the playground is a pastime that now, thanks to Cave Hollow, can be enjoyed by all in Warrensburg. But if staying inside is more your style, Retrograde Charitable Toy and Video Game Museum provides a safe place for kids, big and little, to come together and enjoy classic games.
Retrograde we're actually an operational charity. We all wanted to create a community space where people could be big kids, little kids, and that. And so we took all of our collections and we brought them together and created this crazy space.
We were sitting around one day, you know, if you could do anything, what would it be? First thing that came to mind was, I would really love to start an arcade. But then on top of that, we have all these collections and things that we could show off as well. And so we just kind of smashed that idea together with the idea of a charity and being able to give back to the community.
We decided to kind of come at things community organized, to use these things for people to find a common ground, right? We find that when people get in here and they all start talking and communicating with one another, and you're focused on being a kid, that a lot of the politics of the day or kind of the silliness that we as adults take on fall away.
We've given a place for underprivileged youth to come and hang out, play games, no judgment, safe space. There's nothing political here. We don't care about your, you know, your personal whatever. It's not about that here. It's freedom. We're all playing together. We're all having fun. It doesn't matter outside these doors. Nothing else matters except having a good time. We've worked with Rise, we've worked with United Way, we've worked with the Warrensburg Adventure Club. We just had today 90 some odd kids come through and just play. And we offer mentorships through that, you know, teaching them about the video games and about the histories.
We actually have curriculum written. We take either the old technology, and we show that off, talk about kind of how the circuitry and all of that came about, how when we went to the moon, right, we were strapped in a tin can that had less computing power than a calculator, and you had human, you know, calculators at that point, and how some of these old arcades and that, the boards are just huge and monstrous as compared to the phones and that. Now, mind you, we had kids that come in and they see these old screens and the old TVs and they're like, what's wrong with that? Why isn't that flat? We call it edutainment. That's, you know, we try to educate and entertain at the same time.
My favorite thing about being the co-owner, the co-proprietor of this is seeing people's smiles, their happiness, every time they come in and they go, oh, I had that when I was a kid. Oh man, I used to play that so much. You know, we all connect at that point. We're all children at that point. Our little inner kid is just like, yes, let's hang out, let's do things. I don't care, let's just do stuff, you know? That's my favorite thing, just watching people light up when they see stuff, you know? Watching the kids have such a good time.
So the whole idea is just to, come on over to our house and hang out. Very soon, we'll actually have an operational B&B, so you can actually come and stay here. We can actually marry people here legally, and so you can get married in the arcade and the museum and stay right upstairs and have your honeymoon. So, but there's a lot of different little pieces, and we're always about trying new things and just being crazy and enjoying life, right? Enjoying every day. You only get so many trips around the sun.
The people of Warrensburg have achieved a community where all are welcome. From sharing toys to building a playground for people of all abilities, there is something for everyone. It's a city of fun, flavor, and friendship. I can't wait to come back and see what else they have to offer. Here at Missouri Life, we encourage you to explore our beautiful state and experience all it has to offer. So if you're looking for a daycation or passing through for an evening, here's a quick overnight itinerary to help you maximize your experience. Grab lunch at Muddy Creek Barbecue. Explore the scenery at Powell Gardens. And stay overnight at Gelbach Manor B&B with a home-cooked breakfast in the morning. For everyone at Missouri Life and myself, thanks for watching, and tune in next time to spark your spirit of discovery and experience Missouri Life.
Missouri Life magazine explores and celebrates the people, places, history, and destinations that make our state unique. Subscriptions to Missouri Life magazine are available at MissouriLife.com. For exclusive content, full episodes, and much, much more, subscribe to the Missouri Life channel on YouTube and enjoy the journey at your own pace.
Oh, ha ha ha, forward. This one doesn't have the reverse tone.
So what's the first thing that we do in the bread baking business? That's so fun to say. This does look fun. It's like Play-Doh. Except edible, even though I still ate Play-Doh though.
Yeah.
So it's not any different.